Welcome to the JAMODI podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it.
Coaches, the JAMODI podcast is powered by Scoreboard Media. Scoreboard Media works with high schools across the country to run professional sponsorship programs on their LED scoreboards. Whether you already have LED and you just want to supercharge the revenue, or you want to use sponsorship revenue to buy new LED video scoreboards, Scoreboard Media can help. They work with sponsors and advertisers locally, regionally, and nationally who want to connect with your school's community. Email info@scoreboardmedia.com to start the conversation and see what's possible.
I feel like the relationships that you build with your players probably helps you to know where their confidence is at throughout a season. And that can even throughout a week, throughout a day, it can move. How do you go about helping players with their confidence if you feel like, and typically you don't have to help players when their confidence is high, but when maybe it dips?
Right. A lot of times I'll talk to them, especially a shooter. You know, it seems like shooters they lose their confidence sometimes. And I'm like, you have put in the work.
Yeah, you're right on the money.
Yeah.
Confidence and shooting intertwined. We typically don't talk about their defensive confidence or their blocking out confidence or
right. No doubt.
Keep going. Yeah.
So I'm like, if your shooting confidence can be destroyed by missing 5 shots, then that's on you. That you have been in a gym. I've watched you make thousands of shots. So if you miss 5, I know you're going to make the next 5. If you miss 10 in a row, I'm going to believe you're going to make the next 10 in a row. You are a great shooter that you cannot let a few misses affect you. So we talk a lot about that, but I'll also say, sometimes, we'll just say something. I honestly, no, don't tell them. I hope they don't listen to this, but I'll come in and just make something up. Oh, all you're doing is you're just not holding your follow through, or you're just turning your hand a little. Or
it's the tin cup. It's the tin cup approach. Put grass in your left pocket.
Yes.
And
your feet aren't set. Just say that. Say your feet aren't set. Get your feet set. Well, all of a sudden, if she thinks, oh, that was it, and then goes and hits the next 3 or 4. So sometimes I think, just telling them a little something, one thing, not 5, just one little thing to fix. And I think confidence comes from your preparation. So that hard work, we do a 10,000 shot, club in the summer, and knowing you're prepared. I think before just about every single game, I go in the locker room and say, I'll say many things, but one thing I always say is, why should we win this game? Why do you think we should win this game? I'll say that before just about every game. And somebody will say, we want it more than them. We're more prepared. We've worked harder. We're, we know their stuff better than they know our stuff. I let them raise their hand and answer. And so, I think when I ask, why should we win this game? I want them to believe they deserve success, that we deserve it, that confidence comes from knowing you've worked hard and that you feel like you deserve to win. And so that's the way we go about it, is that hard work's one of our pillars. We're going to work hard so we know that there's going to be something good that comes from that.
I love the questions that you ask. Like you just ask really good questions that it kind of, when I hear that question, or like the what do I really need to know, it just makes like, why haven't I been asking that? Like, why did I not think of that? But part of that is doing what you and I are doing, is continuing to learn from others. And there's just so many ways to do this. Right. And then constantly trying to maybe find a better, more efficient way to ask that question. But that's a good question too. Right on the money with confidence coming from preparation. Because without that, then we are truly lying to them. We're asking them to be, and I always remind our players that they can't lie to the person in the mirror. Like, the mirror knows how much time they put in on their game. And no matter, no Rocky song, no quote, no Wisdom Wednesday can get you past that truth. And so
Right.
the truth has to be that you prepared. Once we've done that, then it's reminding them about the victories and past things. I always tell our guys about David and how David had one of the best examples of confidence and the reminder game, which before Goliath, he reminds himself of, I've gone up against lions and bears and I rescued a sheep from their hands. Like, this is nothing because I had those wins. I've done that. With shooting, you missed three. I remembered the game. I remember the half when you went off for 4 or 5. Reminding our players, because we can remember back to our playing days, or even if we're honest, our coaching days, we can forget real quick past success and past things we've done well, and we start to think that we stink it up at everything. We have to remember those.
No doubt. And I feel like every time we lose a game, I think, gosh, will we ever win again? Or, are we ever going to win another game? Almost after every single loss. Another thing that I try to do to help build confidence is to say, hey, not everybody's going to score 20 points a game. We're not asking everybody to be our leading rebounder, leading scorer. Like, maybe you're our defensive lockdown specialist, maybe you're our rebounder. And so sometimes I'll go up to a kid and say, you're going to be the X factor tonight. If you can guard so-and-so, you're going to be the X factor. You're going to help our team, because they don't know about you. They don't know how you can defend whatever the action is or whatever. And so trying to make them feel like, what you're going to contribute tonight's really important, even if it doesn't show up in the box score necessarily.
That's good. Another good question to ask players throughout the year and maybe early on is, what does it take for you to play in a game? To actually get playing time, what does it take? I think without realizing it, or if we're not careful, all of our players think that they need to do what our star player does.
Right.
In order for them to play or bring value. And if you have little Timmy or little Timette trying to do what your best can do, it's going to hurt them and it's going to lessen their chance. So asking them that question, letting them think about it, and then helping them know, like, yeah, listen, I think if you could come in, give us great energy, like the game was here, man, you brought that energy up to here. We all felt it. And it might, again, going back to us being okay with them being disappointed, it might not be what they dreamt of or want. Maybe it all goes back to preparation. Coach, what do? You build a time machine and you go back and you work. No, but we're not gonna do that to them.
Right.
But it's like, I think asking that question and then helping them or letting them know exactly what to do instead of them just guessing, like, Coach really celebrates when he scores 25. I think that's what I have to do. That's not realistic.
Right. And sometimes you're like, no, we don't even want you trying that.
Yeah, Kelvin Sampson, because I am more in the camp of, I want everybody to be able to shoot open threes.
Yes.
Like the way we play, if there's a guy that the other team knows doesn't shoot, that hurts us. But Kelvin Sampson says something really funny about, like, not wanting guys that can't shoot to have confidence in their shot. He said, why would I want them to have confidence in something they're not good at? Right. So there's maybe a lesson there is finding the things that they are good at, knowing their strengths, and then building their confidence in that. Part of that to me is celebrating. We celebrate the Chargers, we celebrate the Supermans, we celebrate that young man or young lady doing the thing that we've asked them to do.
Right. I think that's huge for sure.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.